What if I told you you could get strong, build muscle, and get the physique that you want without spending hours in the gym? This 45-minute dumbbell workout easily fits into your lunch break. It's super efficient with minimal setup. Let's talk about warming up. Start with 5 minutes on your favorite cardio machine, something like the treadmill, bike, or rower, just to get the blood flowing. After that, make sure you do a warm-up set for each of your main lifts, using about 50% of the weight you'll be using for your working sets. This will help prime your muscles and joints for the heavier work ahead. As we're keeping things simple, we're going to work in the 8 to 10 rep range, so performing 2 sets for each exercise. A 4-1-1-2 tempo will be used. This means a 4-second eccentric, where the muscle lengthens under tension, a 1-second pause after the eccentric, a 1-second concentric, and a 2-second pause to set up for the next rep. So let's jump into session 1. We're kicking things off with a Romanian deadlift, or RDLs for short. We're doing 2 sets of 8 reps here, and we're leaving about 2 reps in the tank, what we call RIR2. This essentially means that we're 2 reps from failure. The reason we're stopping short of failure is because this is a high skill movement where technique can break down as it gets harder. This makes it much more mentally demanding to ensure your body remains in the right position. So RIR2 helps avoid technique breakdowns. This is an important consideration for movements like the RDLs, where a breakdown in hinging can have a negative impact on someone's lower back region. So we're keeping you safe. That being said, the goal here is to really target your hamstrings and glutes. Please use lifting straps for this movement, since you don't want to be limited by your grip. Ensure that you keep the rib cage stacked, and it's super important to note that the hips do all the lowering, not you reaching the dumbbells down. So focus on pushing your hips back and keep a slight bend in your knees. You want to feel that deep stretch in your hamstrings without losing a neutral spine. So lower the dumbbells to around about the middle of the shins. Next is the incline chest press. Again, we're doing 2 sets of 8 reps, but this time with an RIR of 1, meaning you're pushing closer to failure. The reason why we have an RIR1 here is because there's more external stability provided by the bench. So technique breakdowns likely won't happen as early in the set. Remember, the tempos on this one, 4-1-1-2. It's worth noting that the incline chest press doesn't just target the upper pecs. For example, this study, which looked at the horizontal and incline bench press on neuromuscular adaptations in untrained young men, showed the same amount of growth for the lower and mid pecs, but more for the upper pecs on the incline chest press. As you press up, keep a slight tuck in your elbows at around about 30 degrees from the torso, and really focus on controlling the weight, don't rush it. After finishing your incline chest press, we're moving straight into the single arm row. What's great about this is that you can leave the bench at the same angle, meaning there's no need to adjust anything. So this saves time and keeps your workout flowing smoothly. We're sticking with 2 sets of 8 reps per side, also with an RIR of 1. This is great for targeting your lats and mid back. When you're rowing, pull the dumbbell towards your hip, keeping your back flat, and squeeze at the top for maximum engagement. What's great about this exercise is the stability it can create across the lumbar spine, as the opposite side glutes and lats, which insert into the thoracolumbar fascia, work to stabilize the lower back and spine. To wrap up session 1, we're going into a superset, hitting the biceps and triceps. First, we've got the lengthened range bicep curl, 2 sets of 8 reps, RIR1. The key here is to really emphasize the stretch at the bottom of the movement, and you should feel the triceps contract to ensure that this happens. Again, differences in structure are important here. Ensuring that your upper arm is perpendicular to the floor will allow for you to line up the bicep fibers with gravity. So a lean may help you to achieve this depending on the width of your shoulder girdle. Then we'll go straight into skull crushers. Same deal, 2 sets of 8 reps, RIR1. This is a mid/shortened range exercise, focusing on the contraction of the triceps at the top of the movement. So the triceps are not fully lengthened under tension in this movement. All right, on to session 2. We're starting with reverse lunges, 2 sets of 8 reps per leg with an RIR of 2. These are great for hitting the quads, glutes, and hamstrings. Step back with control, keep your torso upright, and drive through the middle of your foot to return to the starting position. I do recommend using wrist straps for this one so that you're not limited by your grip when performing this exercise. The extent to which you target your quads is femur length dependent. For me, due to my long femurs, I have to use a deficit. However, this may not be necessary for you. Just take a look to see where your hips end up when you lunge back. If they're parallel or below the knee, you may not need to perform a deficit reverse lunge. Next is the chest supported row. We're doing 2 sets of 8 reps here, RIR1. This move targets your upper back and lats without putting strain on your lower back. Keep your chest pressed into the bench, pull the dumbbells towards your waist, and squeeze those shoulder blades together. Then we have the shoulder press 2 sets of 8 RIR1. It's important in this movement to ensure that you're in the neutral scapular plane to properly align the muscle fibers we're seeking to target, the deltoids. To finish off session 2, we've got another superset. First, the shortened range bicep curl, 2 sets of 8 reps, RIR1. This variation targets the peak contraction of the bicep, focusing on the shortened range where the muscle is fully contracted. By incorporating both lengthened and shortened range curls in your routine, you're ensuring that the biceps are worked from all angles, leading to more balanced growth. And finally, tricep extension, 2 sets of 8 reps. This exercise focuses on the lengthened range where the triceps are under the most stretch. Research has shown that exercises that emphasize the lengthened range of motion, like tricep extensions, are better for muscle growth. That being said, cables would be preferred to get the most out of this movement, but in the absence of those, this will still have a positive impact on your muscle growth. Just work hard. How to progress? We're going to use the double progression method. Seeing as we're in the 8 to 10 rep range, we'll first perform 2 sets of 8 reps on the same weight as prescribed. We'll then look to build up to performing 2 sets of 10 on the same weight. Once achieved, we'll increase the weight and start back at 8 reps again. So you should make great progress with this program if you run it for 12 weeks. Finally, if you feel like you have more time, I'd recommend adding a set to the first 3 exercises, as these are the compound movements which will allow for more growth in terms of muscle and strength. Now let's talk about how to fit this program into your week. I recommend training 2 times per week with at least 2 days of rest in between sessions. This gives your muscles plenty of time to recover and grow. For example, you could train on Monday and Thursday or Tuesday and Friday, whatever fits best with your schedule. The key is to make sure you're consistent, so be sure to schedule these sessions in advance and treat them like any other important appointment. If you stick with this routine, you're going to see great progress in your strength and muscle development, all while keeping your workouts efficient and effective. So there you have it. 2 full body sessions with just dumbbells. This routine is all about maximizing muscle engagement with minimal equipment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.